Welcome to another class of Python automation. In this class, I'm going to be showing you about conditional statements and loops. It also belongs to the Python basic refreshers, so if you have no prior experience to Python, then these classes are perfect for you to get started with the most basics. So, without any further ado, let's open up PyCharm on our device and let's get started with the class. And by the end of this class, I'm also going to be showing you how you'll be able to apply it on the web to make it run properly and also smoothly. As you can see on my screen, I have opened up PyCharm. Let's create a new project. The name of this project that I'm going to use is going to be Conditionals and Loops. Then hit on Create. Let's wait for a bit until the virtual environment has been created, and it's also going to import and upload these skeletons. You can see it is indexing and also updating the skeletons that we need to use. After it will be done, I'm going to show you them step by step, one by one. We're going to start off with the conditional statements in Python and how it is useful. Conditional statements let you execute code only when certain conditions are true. There are a couple of common ones, such as the if statement, the if-else statement, and the if-else or Elif ladder. So you'll be able to apply all three of them step by step. First thing, let's create a new file. As we have a new file, let's name it Conditionals. Inside the conditionals, I'm going to start off with the if statement. Now, the if statement is going to be correct and it's going to show up if it meets up the criteria, such as, let's say, the age is around 20. Here, I'm going to put in the if statement. If age is greater or equal than 18, then I want Python to print out that you are an adult. Now, I'm going to run this just like this, and it will show me that you are an adult. Now, the next thing that I'm going to show you is going to be the if-else statement. Another thing is that if it is 17, and if I run this again, then you can see I have no or nothing over here. So in this case, I can use the else statements. Else, here I can print out you're a teenager. If I run this, you can see it is showing me you're a teenager. That means this person is not an adult. We can also put this in a new statement where you're going to use both the if and also the else. Let's say the age that we want to use right now is going to be somewhere around 16. In this case, I'm going to start off with the if statement. If age is greater or equal to, let's say, 18, colon, I want to print out you are an adult. But if it doesn't meet up the criteria, I'm going to put in the else statement in the same way. Print, I'm going to put in you are a minor. If I run this, you can see you are a minor. So this is how you're going to use the if and the else statement together. If you want to use the if, Elif, and the else ladder all together, you can use a specific method. Let's say I'm going to put in the marks is equal to 75. If marks is greater or equal to 90, I'm going to print out the grade, such as the grade is going to be A, grade A. If it doesn't meet up the criteria, if it is else. Another thing, if you want to put another condition, only in that case, use the elif statement. Elif marks greater or equal to 70, colon, I want to print out grade B. And if it doesn't meet up any of these criteria, put the else statement, print, open parentheses, double quotation, grade C. If I run this, you can see it is grade B. But if I put this something like 65 and run this back again, you can see grade C. You can also put in more conditions if you want to, such as putting in more of these Elif statements. In this case, it will be more validated and it's going to have more conditions. So this is basically how you are going to use the conditional statements in Python. Now, the next thing that we're going to learn about is the loop statements. So, what are the loops in Python? So loops are basically used to repeat a block of code over and over again. Now, there are also two types of loops of Python. They are the for loop and also the while loop. They are also used for specific reasons. First off, let's create a new file. Loops. Here, I'm going to start off with the for loop. The for loop is used with sequences like lists, ranges, and also strings. First things first, let's say I'm going to create a loop, or let's say a for loop. For I in range, open the parentheses, and then I'm going to use numbers from 1 to 6. But it's not going to be equal to 6. That means I'm going to print out from 1 to 5. So 1, comma, and the stopping number is going to be 6. If you want to stick like 6, then I'm going to put in 7. After 7, go off to the next line, and then I'm just going to print out I. Then right click on this and run loops. You can see there's no comma, so I'm just going to put in a colon over here, and then I'm going to run loops again, and now you can see it is from 1 to 6. If I put in 0 to 7 and run this whole thing again, you will see it is going to start from 0 to 6. If you want 7, then put in 8 and then run the loops again, and you will see it is going to end till 7. So this is basically how you're going to use the for loops in Python. Now let's show you how you're going to use the while loop in Python. The while loop mainly runs as long as the condition is true. If it doesn't meet up the criteria anymore, it's not going to continue anymore. In that case, let's put in the I value equal to 1. Here I'm going to put in the while loop, which is, let's say I is, let's say, smaller or equal to 5, colon, and then I'm going to put in print I. After that, I'm going to increment 1 by 1. So here plus or equal to 1. If I now run the loops again, you can see it is going to increment from 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. As it is equal and greater to 5, if I put in like this and run the loops, you can see it is going to be up till 4, as it is not equal to 5. If I put in like this, it might show you me off as an error because there is a lot of numbers that is going to be greater to 5. If I put in 50, and if I put in this equal, and if I run this again, you will see it is going to end up till 50. So there's like a lot of numbers which are repeating as long as the conditions are met. So this is how we are going to work with loops in Python. Now, the next thing that I'm going to be showing you is loop control statements. There are mainly two things that you have to keep in mind, such as the break and also the continue. The break is basically used to exit the loop in case if it continues over and over again and is still repeating. And you're going to use continue if you want to skip to the next iteration. In that case, let's say I'm going to print numbers from 1 to 6, but we're going to skip the number 4. let's say for I in range, let's say 1 to, let's say 7, as we're using 1 to 6. So here, I'm going to put in if I is double equal to 4, then I don't want it to print it. So here, I'm going to put in continue, and then I'm going to go back into this indentation level, and then I'm going to print I. If I run this over here, you can see it is going to continue from 1 to 6, but it is going to skip 4 in between. So this is basically how you're going to control the loop statements in Python, also while automation. Now, let's create a simple Python web app using Flask and also using all the things that we have learned in this class. First off, I'm going to create a Python file. Let's say it's going to be app.py, and then I'm going to create a new directory over here. Directory name is going to be templates. Inside the templates, I'm going to create a Python file, or let's say I'm going to create an HTML file. Let's say index.html. Let's start off over here on the index file. Okay, so the title of this file that we want to use is going to be number checker. After that, we have defined in the title. Now let's head off inside the body. Let's put in the h1 tag. Let's say I'm going to put in enter a number. After that, I'm going to define in a form. Now, if you are not understanding any part of this, it is totally fine because it is one of the most basics. Here inside the form, I'm going to put in a specific method, which is going to be the post method. And we're going to be putting everything inside of this form, such as the input button. The input is going to have a specific type, which is going to be number. And then I'm going to define in a name, which is also number. And I'm going to make sure that it is required and it's not going to work until you meet up the criteria. Button, type, submit. And then I'm going to close off the tag. Here I'm going to put in check. After the form tag, I'm going to create a third bracket and put in a percentage. Here, I'm going to put in if result, as you can see, percentage, close off the third bracket. I'm going to put in something over here. Let's say the h2 tag, close off the tag over here, third bracket 2 times, result, 2 times to close it off. After h2, I'm going to put in h3, close off the tag. Here I'm going to put in numbers from 1 to your input. Okay, this is how you want to put it. After the input that we have applied, I'm going to put in a colon. And you can see it is closing off right over here. Now from here, I'm going to start off in like unordered list over here. Inside the unordered list, I'm going to have third brackets and then put in percentage for n in numbers. Percentage and close off the third brackets. And here I'm going to put in the li tag, close it off, third bracket 2 times n, and then close it off again over here. After the li, I'm going to make sure I end it, so percentage end 4. This is how you want to keep it, and percentage over here, and close off the third bracket again. This is how you want to keep it. And then I'm going to make sure the ul tag has ended, and right like before the unordered list, I'm going to have another end for. So put in percentage, put in end if. Percentage over here, third bracket closing right over here. Okay, so this is how you want to keep it, and then I'm going to save up this file. Now let's put in the conditions on the app.py file. So put in from Flask. Now you can see Flask is not detected. If it is not, it is totally fine. Let's go off over here and go off the tools. Then after you go off the tools or run, and you will find something over on navigate and view. Okay, you can just check on all of these. We also have windows and all these over here. If it is not at the top, then click on this over here as the terminal. You can see Windows PowerShell. Here, what you want to do is you want to type in pip install Flask. Hit on enter and then wait for a bit until Flask has been installed on this specific file over here. You can see it is collecting the files and it's going to install all of the required dependencies until it is working properly. Now, you can see Flask is supported by PyCharm Professional. I'm going to dismiss it. Now, if I type in Flask over here, it is working perfectly. Now, after Flask, I'm going to import Flask over here, comma. I'm going to render the template, comma, and then request. Now I'm going to give this a name, app name, Flask, open parentheses, underscore, name, just like this. Now I'm going to have an app root. So app.root. Okay. Open up the parentheses, double quotation, put in a slash, just like this, and define in the method, which is going to be equal, double quotation, let's say the get method, and also I want the post method. This should close over here and define in the function with the index. Then move on to the next line, define in the result, as you can see, is equal, put in double quotation and empty, so everything inside it is validated. Then I'm going to put in numbers equal secondary bracket in the same way. If request, as you are using, dot method, after method, I'm going to put in double equal, double quotation, and define in post, colon. Here I'm going to put in the try method, let's say numerical equal to integer values. I'm going to put in the request dot form, then open up the secondary brackets and define in number. Let's open up the double quotation. In that way, it is working a bit better. Now I'm going to apply my conditional statements, such as the if, numerical, percentage. Let's say if the percentage is 2 and double equal to 0, I'm going to put in colon, result is equal to f, third brackets, then put in, let's say, a double quotation over here and define in the num over here is even. Okay, double quotation to close it off just like this. Or else, here I'm going to put in another colon. I'm going to put in the result equal f, double quotation, third brackets. Here I'm going to put in numerical is odd. After the odd, I'm going to put in the loop statements, or let's say I'm going to start off with numbers equal list. Here I'm going to put in the range value, which is going to be inside the parentheses, 1 comma, let's say numerical plus 1, so it increments 1 by 1. Here I'm going to have an exception, so here I'm going to put in except the value error that you can see over here, put in a colon, define in the result is equal to double quotation, put in please enter a valid number. After that, put in a full stop, and then I'm going to return my value over here. Return the render template. Here, I want to make sure it is connected with the index.html file. And inside this, I'm going to put in a comma with the result should be equal to result, comma, numbers should be equal to numbers. Okay, now we're going to make sure we have the whole thing on loop. If underscore name is double equal, double quotation, main over here, put in colon, app dot run debug equal true. So that is how it should be. Okay. Now the most easiest method is running the application. Over here, type in python app.py. Hit on enter, and you can see there is a specific error over here, such as methods. So here we're going to put in methods. Now let's type in Python app.py, and you can see we have more of these methods over here. So let's just check wherever it is applied. Okay, so let's check this. We have methods over here. We have methods over here. You can see this one, and okay, that's basically it. We're going to check on this one. I'm going to put in Python app.py. You can see we have the server over here. Let's open it up, and you can see that it is going to open up on one of my browser. As it's showing me, it's the browser, and you can see this is how it is. If I put in 5 and hit on check, you can see it is odds, and the numbers from 1 to your input is like this. If I put in 50, hit on check, it is even, and the numbers from 1 to your input is up till 50. So this is basically how your site is going to work, and when you apply these conditionals in your file and your app.py file. Okay, so thank you for watching this video up till the very end, and hope you understood about everything in this class. If you still have any confusion or any question about any part of this lesson, feel free to ask me anytime. I'm always there to help you out. So without any further ado, let's move on to our next class of Python automation.